Hello, darlings. It's I host Madam Tilly, and these are my boobs, and this is my friend, Knockvillettes. How you doing, darling?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Tilly. It's wonderful to see you and do this again. It's an honor.
Yep. And welcome to the new Gaybit podcast. Yas Queen. I
Yes, Queen.
cannot believe that name wasn't taken.
Seriously, it wasn't?
Yeah, yeah. I'm no copyright infringer.
Huh. I
although,
I had no idea.
although I should probably sue Palia because that elf looks very familiar.
That elf does look very familiar. Yikes.
Okay, I see. I was actually gonna do a PNG myself, but for some reason Fujitech isn't working for me. It'll work perfectly for him. So, hey. But yeah, this is my old waifu tavern set. We're going to be getting a custom made set, and production's going to increasingly look better. But this is our first episode, first of many, hopefully. So let's just shake off the rust, get back into the swing of things, and it'll evolve as we go. And there's already a cat jumping on my desk. Down, boy. Why are you wet?
Wet?
Yeah, the cat's wet for some reason. It's not even raining out.
It did it.
I don't know.
Mm,
Funny enough, I saw a grasshopper hopping through the cat door and it's just jump into the bathtub and just hangs out in there now.
what?
Yeah, I
I,
know, right? But it's Easter weekend at the time of this recording. Yeah, I've been very busy, and it's also my birthday today. He.
happy
Uh,
birthday, Tilly.
Thank you, darling. Yep, which is also the same day as Trans Day Visibility, which is so I guess like it was meant to be, you know.
Exactly.
Also, for some odd reason, Easter's fallen on this year, and I'm not gonna let some chocolate Jesus bunny freaking take my spotlight.
Mm, I happen to like the Easter Bunny. I'll go up to the Easter Bunny, ask them for the eggs, and hopefully they're filled with chocolate.
Yeah.
I'll take the Cadbury Easter Bunny eggs. Thank you.
Okay. They're all yours.
Nice.
Uh, I say I can't have chocolate anyway.
What? Oh,
Got a
I
bad
I,
tooth.
I understand.
Okay, so today we are talking about the Super Nintendo games and stuff. Okay, so Super Nintendo for me is actually the only Nintendo console I never owned.
Really?
Um, yeah. Had NES, had a 64. It wasn't until later in life I got a GameCube and a Wii. Um, but yeah, the Super Nintendo is not the only one I never owned.
Oh,
Um, so I didn't really get to experience the majesticness of the Super Nintendo for like the last few years. Um, and I gotta say, I was very impressed, especially with the RPGs back then. Because the Sega didn't have shit for RPGs, you know?
ugh. Well, it did have a couple of RPGs, but I'll stand by what you said. It didn't have much in terms of an RPG library.
Yeah. Oh,
The only
man.
thing it had good going for them is Fantasy Star, and that's all I
Yep.
know.
Trying to say, there has to be at least one more RPG, but probably when we get to a Sega Genesis episode,
Yeah,
we'll find it.
yeah, yeah. But right now we're talking about Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah, the SNES. What's your experience with SNES?
Oh man, it was the third system I owned, albeit the second Nintendo system I ever owned. The third one was if you can count the Game Boy as a Nintendo system, I guess, but no, since we're talking about the Super Nintendo's got to be home. So it's the second Nintendo home console I owned. First was the SNES and the Atari, and the SNES came next if after the NES was traded in. Kind of sad about that, but what can you do? So the experience with the SNES, I only owned like a finite amount of games, about five or six, and I rented those here and there, and it's been a great experience for me. A nice array of game library that actually got me more into gaming and found my calling at a genre called RPGs. I did not know what an RPG was until I played the very first one, which was Super Mario RPG,
Nice.
The Legend of the Seven Stars.
Oh, but also now suddenly I'm recalling that was also the very first like console wars, Sega and Nintendo. And yeah, the console wars were pretty damn serious. Like people died, you know. Oh man,
Yeah,
but
and there was a going a little off topic here. There was a commercial that Crash Bandicoot was right outside Nintendo's studio taunting them about this new game that came out for PlayStation, and I think he was escorted out somewhere. I guess I don't recall what the commercial was, but I know it was the Crash mascot uh, outside Nintendo headquarters just talking smack and
yeah,
talking
that was
smack about.
great.
Yeah,
I love that
that
old.
that was hilarious. And
Uh,
and getting back to you about the console wars, and yeah, that was some serious shit back then. Not only people died, but people lost jobs back
oh
then
yeah,
too. And it was something about Sega talking down or talking smack to Nintendo, saying that we play games Sega that Nintendo don't, or something like that.
yeah. Like I know we didn't get too much like blood and gore on the Super Nintendo, that's for sure.
Thank goodness.
Let's see. Super Nintendo had a decent design too. Nice, simple, top loader. Where Sega tried to be like a little sleek and stuff. And but the controllers are pretty good too. I really like the because I got pick up a hold of Super Nintendo controller right now, and like with it's kind of like almost like a wishbone type of design, and yeah, just it feels great. Yeah.
The design for the SNES, albeit albeit the one that we got in the States versus the Famicom, the designs for both the SNES and the Famicom, I thought was really good for its time, and the controllers, it was new design to me because I was used to the two buttons, the A and B on the NES, and now they added a few more buttons on the controller, and I had to think of something fast of how to master how to master all these buttons at once. I said, oh, there's so much I have to take in, and then I was thrown right into the game. Training begins now, and then I wasn't ready.
Little do we know the N64 had more in store for us.
Oh, don't get me started with that.
Oh man, but speaking of controllers, did you prefer the purple buttons or those rainbow buttons?
Oh, give me the rainbow buttons any day of the week, and I'm a happy camper.
Yeet.
Uh, granted, I only got the purple button ones, and I did not know about the rainbow button ones until much later. And I was a little sad that I didn't get the rainbow color ones because I can
Uh,
understand the letter coding,
yeah,
but I feel like color coding might be a little bit better in terms of button. I don't know. It's just
yeah, I
how.
get that.
Yeah, I know some people operate off of that, so I was going off of that.
No, I mean that's actually really smart.
Hmm.
Cause I remember PlayStation used to do that. They would actually color in the square and the X and triangle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, even Xbox did that too.
Yep.
So yeah, they.
Yeah,
Uh,
they had the original concept and idea for it. It's just
it's like
that, yeah,
nowadays it's just it's like you can customize your own control scheme now. So
yeah, that's freaking sweet.
so you brought it up. How do you feel about good old Super Mario RPG?
Ooh, oh man, that's the very first RPG I played was definitely that one, and it boomed into an ever expanding universe of games that fell under the same genre. Um, when I first played Super Mario RPG, I didn't know what to think or what to do. I just went along with the game and thought I knew what I was doing. Intentionally, I was not. So over time, I had to learn about how the controls worked and how the leveling up system works or how items work or something like that, even though the inventory was kind of limited. Even
Yeah.
with the quests in it and the side quests I did not know much about until halfway through at first, and then and this was when I rented it, by the way. And by the time I had to take it back, I had to re-rent it just so I could play through the game again and see if I can 100% it, but I didn't. So,
Uh,
uh, it still is it still is one of my favorite games, um, from the SNES era, and it introduced me to uh RPGs as a whole. So I would say if one is looking into playing Super Mario RPG remake,
ye-
I would say go for it. I mean, it almost plays exactly like it. They added a couple of things in it that makes the game more interesting and more fun. Albeit a little bit easier, but things get a little harder later on in the remake. I played through the entirety of Super Mario RPG remake, and it's fantastic and never disappointed. The story is more or less the same. The side quests the same. Uh, there really is nothing more I can say anything good about it. But there's only one thing I will have a critical about it is that it's a little too easy. And I think that's for me personally as someone who's played the game about 10 times or less before the remake came out. But
uh,
if it's your first time playing it, then there's an option if you want to, keep it normal. Like there's breezy mode that allows you to play through the game story with ease, and then there's the original normal mode that you can play through the game normally without, any assists or anything like that.
yeah.
So it brings in that quality of life of the new gamer as opposed to the casual or the veteran. So it appeases so it appeases to the masses of those who are interested. So,
You let me a breezy mode.
oh, indeed.
Uh, yeah, it's like I came. I never finished it because it wasn't really pulling me. I don't know if I just overhyped it because it took so long to get around to it. Because I played it like last year. But there was so many good things about it. Like I was surprised by the dialogue. It was very witty dialogue. Like it's like too witty for Mario. Um,
Mm.
and I like the level up system where like you can pick you want to put more into attack, defense, or magic. Um,
That is true.
one thing I didn't like was the little quick time event where you got to hit the button to do more damage or take less damage.
hmm
So when I get an RPG, I just want to put the commands and just sit back and watch the screen. I don't want to put in more work.
And that is fair. That is fair. And I know there's some people that just cannot keep up with the time to tax and time blocks, but I feel like that's the charm of the challenge of where the game is, and that brings back to what I was stating earlier about it appeases the remake appeases the new people and the ones who have played the game multiple times. So I get what you're coming from. I do.
Yeah.
And and the dialogue. Well, okay. To be fair, this was made in the 90s, so the script and the dialogue back then they had to appease the young audience, obviously.
Yeah.
So as witty and cheesy as it is, I'm glad that they did not change it to anything silly or stupid in the remake.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I enjoyed it because I said if you're a little a little grown up for Mario, but yeah, there was a part where he's gonna punch a kid in the face. So like, awesome. Love seeing kids get beat up in video games.
Goodness.
uh,
Man, that's for another game later on that we'll discuss, and that's in that same system.
okay, and speaking of Mario, I guess Super Mario World was a pretty good launch title.
I agree. A very good launch title. It gave you lots to do, even though I feel like the game. Some would argue saying that the game is short, but if you're the first time playing
Yeah,
it,
right.
yeah, right. If it's your first time playing it and you're going for 100% or all the exits, 96 exits, yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna keep you going for a long time.
From what I watched on blog there's like so many so many levels, so many secrets, and then there's some bonus stages that get crazy.
Oh, the bonus stages can get crazy. I'll agree with that. But yeah, I will agree that Super Mario World was a very it's a very good launch title, and that's one of the games I got when the system launched. Ugh.
Apparently, I'm actually barred from playing it.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to play Super Mario World because I suck at it that bad.
Uh,
I, I got,
uh
I got so bad. I'm game overed by Lenny.
oh. Wait,
Ah,
really? Lenny?
yeah, yeah. And it's funny. I was actually telling people this back when I was a YouTuber. And I was telling the other tubers yeah, I told how bad I was and stuff, and they're like, "You gotta play it. We gotta see this," I so I guess they just want to laugh while watch me fail at Super Mario World, right? So I made the video, and I did not get that kind of reaction. I got anger. They were offended by how bad I was.
Uh
They're like, "You are never allowed to play this again."
wow. I can understand if you stopped at Ludwig's castle, but Lemmy?
Yeah, first boss, I could even get past them. Yeah.
But okay, I just want to confirm real quick because there's eight Koopa castles. One of them is including Bowser. We have Iggy, the first one. Morton is the second one. Third one is Lemmy.
Oh, Iggy. Sorry, Iggy's the one I got to. Sorry. Yeah, the first one. I couldn't beat the first boss.
I am hereby royally flabbergasted right
Huh?
now. You couldn't even beat Iggy?
No.
Larry is like Iggy, and he's castle number 7. I think
So yeah, yeah. They had their reaction. Yeah, they're like, yeah, you're not allowed to play Super Mario World ever again. You can't get past the first boss.
Dr. Alex EXE has stopped functioning. Would you like to submit a report to Windows.com?
See. Beep boop boop boop.
Thank you for submitting your report.
Wow,
Rebooting complete. Okay, thank you. Okay.
my arm's
I'm
off.
sorry that happened.
That's okay. I mean, I also was not a fan of those ghost castles anyway. Like the freaking, if I try to find those exits, I'm like, this is bullshit. I would never stick the look here.
Oh, the ghost houses. Yeah,
Yeah.
the ghost houses are a little off. They're full. They're full of secrets. Granted, they are.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was not a fan. Uh, but
man. If I knew that this would happen, I probably would have played Super Mario World 96 exits in your honor on Mario Day.
Tuh. It's all good. Apparently Mario Day's a thing now. All
Yeah.
from a fucking milk carton that started.
Hey, when something happens because of a milk carton, we praise the milk carton. Damn it. Oh man,
Oh man, so
those milk cartons, those pint-sized milk cartons. Wow.
yummy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Going off my list, Seventh Saga. Um, so that was an interesting RPG. Okay, pretty unique too. And kind of goes with the same with another RPG called Arcana.
Mm.
Seventh Saga. Basically, a lot of replayability. The fact that you could pick between 7 characters, and then you could eventually run to the other 6 companions and do some like really RNG stuff. They'll either like you or hate you. And you can have fight to the death, or you can have one of them join you for the adventure. So 11 combinations. But that game is fucking hard. Um, but such a really good JRPG if I pay it. Essentially, have to abuse the save states if you get like it's weird because like the game, it's good. I hear some people say fond things about it, but it's they never brought up in memory. Same with Arcana. Now, Arcana has a
Hmm.
very unique art style where like everything's a card. Um, Now the main issue with a card with Arcana though is wasn't necessarily the difficulty, but like there's like no fucking checkpoints or save points. Like the dungeons are so long. Also, with Arcana, what's kind of bullshit is if anyone dies, game over. Yeah, normally in RPGs it's a party wipe, or in fucking Persona, your main character drops, then game over. But if any of the four teammates die, it's game over. And a game that has like little to no save points. If you're playing on, so you really, both these RPGs were not made to be played on original hardware. Gotta use the save states.
Or it's one of these games you had to play it all in one setting.
Oh no, these games are fucking long.
Yeah, play it in one setting and got to prepare yourself. It's going to be a long ride.
Uh,
Or just take a break. Just don't turn off the system, and hopefully nobody will notice. Or at least that's what I would do.
have you heard of any of those RPGs?
What was it called again?
Seven Saga, and the other one's Arcana.
Never heard of Arcana. When you mentioned Saga, I can only hear Romancing Saga.
Yeah, I believe it was made by either Square and/or Enix.
It's probably by Enix. I'm thinking it's probably by Enix, and I just don't know it.
Let's see. There's the ActRaiser games, which I only touched on. I do like that I had Super Nintendo to kind of make it a little more like involved, where you can kind of you're just like floating like a little magical island, and you get to pick where you get to drop down at, and then it's a side scroller hack and slash.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Then another game, Aladdin. I gotta say though, the Sega Genesis version is very superior.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
when I saw the Genesis version when I was over at my friend's house at the time, yeah, that version pales in comparison to the SNES. No lie, right there.
Yeah, like the SNES one had superior cutscenes, but the Genesis version just had much better gameplay and the music. Oh my goodness gracious!
Hmm.
I was able to replicate each song in 16-bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jesus. Yeah. And finishing that up, what you mentioned about ActRaiser. Yeah, the ActRaiser. I have played that in the past, and I haven't played the second one. I only played the first one, but it was developed by Enix,
uh,
and yeah, and ActRaiser 2 again I haven't played. It was released 3 years after the first one was released, but yeah, the first one for me was good. I haven't played the second, but if I were to, I may do a retrospect on it, maybe, but we'll see. But
and,
the music in there is good though.
ye-
Yeah, check it out.
let's see here, and then I heard there's a decent new ActRaiser on the Switch. So,
I may or may not have heard of it.
ye- let's see. Another game I can touch on. Let's see here. Art of Fighting. I am no artist because I get my ass kicked every time.
The Art of Fighting.
Yeah. Basically a Street Fighter clone.
The Art of Fighting
Uh,
is not bad.
yeah.
It's
Let's see. What's a game you can recall?
oh man. Well, there's several games I can recall from my original list. And these are the ones I legitimately owned, not rented. So, Let's go with that. First off, have you heard of Sparkster?
I think so, but oh, I played him on the Sega 32X.
If you played it on the Sega 32X, then that probably would be Rocket Knight Adventures and Sparkster came. Yeah,
Oh no, okay, I'm thinking because there actually is like a Sparks type of like a mascot character for Sega.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, Rocket Knight Adventures came out for the Sega, and Sparkster came out for the SNES after that. So Sparkster is the sequel of Rocket Knight Adventures, in a way. And I played through Sparkster all the modes from easy to crazy hard. And crazy hard is, well, obviously crazy hard. That's about as hard as you can get. But
so it's honest.
well, it was very honest, true. the the soundtrack of Sparkster compared to that and the Rocket Knight Adventures is a little bit of a mixed bag. Mixed bag meaning that they use some tracks from Rocket Knight Adventures to some of the levels that seems fitting. And honestly, when I compare the two, Rocket Knight Adventures and Sparkster, when they put the theme or when they put the music in the levels, didn't seem to make sense to me. But when I played Sparkster first, which I did, and then I played Rocket Knight Adventures later, and I said, okay, this is a little weird and doesn't make sense, but okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. So for those who haven't played it, I would say try to find ways to get it. I know limited run games did something like that, and I'm sad that I missed out on it. And uh, yeah, it's if you like possums, if you like rocket backpacks, sword fighting, traversing through levels, finding secrets, kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, but not in a way. Then yeah, I would say Sparkster is the one for you. I mean, you don't need to play original Rocket Knight Adventures to get the story. I mean, it's a different story, albeit it's the same characters. It's just different story.
I'm sure it's a deep story.
Yeah, it's still a story nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a pretty cool concept, and the character design's pretty neat, and the platform mechanics of the jetpack and the sword. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, indeed. Uh, Earthbound was another one.
Ah,
Uh, I'm not gonna go into the whole depths of the lore of how Earthbound was made to be, but I would say go ahead and research. But long story short, let's just say it has something to do with trauma and some form of PTSD. We'll leave it at that.
yeah, the plot of Earthbound's a little really out there.
Yeah,
All Earthbound games are really out there.
yeah, it
Don't play
is.
them when they're free.
Yeah, it's an interesting RPG with an interesting system. I say interesting meaning that you can learn to manipulate it, but if you're not careful of the counting, then it could go against you. Counting meaning that, let's say if I get attacked twice while I'm at 200 health, and they hit me twice for 250 each, and then my HP is going down and down and down and down. If I use an item in time, then that stops the count down, and that brings my health back up. That's what I meant by using it in your favor. Now, if you wait too long, then of course, obviously you're dead, and it's pretty much game over. Um, the so do you need to know? So do you need? So there is obviously a prequel to this game called Mother One or Earthbound Beginnings, allegedly.
Yeah,
So
on the NES.
yep, on the NES. So should you play it first before you play Earthbound? Yes and no. I mean they kind of connect in a way, but they're different protagonists. So, would I say I recommend it? Uh, I would say yes. I mean, it's a long game. I'm not gonna lie. When I say this, it's a long game. And when I compare that with Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger and any other RPG out there, I would say this one is one of the longest. because there's so much to explore, so much to do, even in the some side quests that you do. It's a long game.
Huh.
Yeah, I might have. Oh right, I used to own the Earthbound strategy guide where they had like the scratch and sniffs, and the only thing that smelled good was the bananas. Anything else just smelled like, what the fuck is this? Am I smelling?
Trying to think of how a scratch and sniff was even invented. Like, how the heck?
Yeah, I didn't even know scratch and sniff was a thing until that was in my arms. And
Imagine trying to smell it now, like 30 years later.
oh god, it's probably smelled like rotten bananas.
Let's see here.
Uh,
Speaking of smells, Battletoads.
oh fuck. Ooh, you got to be more specific, please.
Well, let's see. We all know the infamous NES game.
Ugh.
Let's see. I wonder if Battle Maniacs was any better.
Battle Maniacs was any better? It made things a little easier than the original one, yes, but still hard.
Mm.
I had my shot at Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. I came close to beating it, but later on I did manage to beat it. So it's something I would play with a friend. If you want to play it solo, that's fine. But quite honestly, it's a good beat 'em up. I would also recommend Battletoads and Double Dragon as well. That one's a really fun game.
Heck yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite of the Battletoad games. Is that and Battle Maniacs falls second, but yeah, Double Dragon and Battletoads comes first. That
Oh,
yeah, the fact that the Battletoads had a collaboration with the Dragon Masters, yes, that's definitely the ultimate beat 'em up game.
how is that not an animated movie?
Why is it not an animated movie? We needed that since yesterdecade or yestercentury.
True. That'd be totally radical.
Totally,
Particular. Yee.
totally gnarly.
Hey. This is
Hey.
far out. Your turn.
Okay. This is probably going to be a triple header for me, so bear with me if I
Okay.
go across the border here. So Mega Man X. This was the first of many Mega Man games that I adored growing up. I mean, granted, I did play the original Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, with 3 being my favorite the most, and 4. Now, I never played much of 6 until later. So let's just say I did the first 5, but I skipped out on 6 until much later when I played it. So Mega Man X, I did not know what to do in the first level until I knew of the wall jump up mechanic. And then after that, I evolved it into something much more than what I could do. I was a fast learner in Mega Man X. From what you can do to dash jumping, to dash up off walls, and also, well, just to, dodge. But that in itself, I was well versed in the not only of where to go in terms of power ups of getting stuff for X, but also finding challenges and finding other ways to beat the game without getting 100% everything. Not not even getting the Hadoken. I mean, I wanted to get the Hadoken because I was curious, but I got it and I said, "Oh shit, that makes things a lot faster."
That's true. I think I only got it like one time.
Yeah. So the thing is with Mega Man X1 is that they had the Hadoken. When you get 100% everything, you go through Armored Armadillo's level 5 to 6 times, and then at the end, right above the first gate to the boss room, is you find Dr. Light's capsule, and he'll give you the Hadoken, which one-shots everything, even bosses.
Not to mention you can see Dr. Light and Ryu cosplay.
Yes, exactly. X2, the sequel to it, rest in peace, Green Rider.
Yeah.
I would say this one is more of a challenge to me than the first one is, and it was a lot more fun. And same thing occurs that if you 100% everything, you go to Hunter Base level 3, and there's this hidden compartment after you do the midair dash and speed burner dash across the two needle pits and the left side of the wall, Dr. Light will give you the Shoryuken power up, which may or may not kill everything, but it will be relatively close to 75% if it connects.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that was again a lot of fun, a lot of challenge in there, and yeah, you can also make your own challenges as well. Uh,
What
what?
challenge did you make?
I made a I made a quote unquote Half-Life challenge
Huh.
where I get four life ups, but only two sub tanks and only two armor upgrades. That's pretty much half of everything. And I only did it with uh X-Buster and charge shots only. I only use the special weapons for getting over certain obstacles to get to what I need.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It was hard, but it took a while. It took a while until I got what I needed. Let's see. X3, same thing. I loved of how the different routing happens. Well, X2 also had a different routing as well, so I couldn't. So I forgot about that one. So X3 also had this different routing like X2 did, where if you defeated the optional bosses before you defeat the 8, it'll give you the better routing. Or if you didn't, then it gives you a different routing. It just gives you a different outcome. Same thing with X3. It depends on how you play. Depending on how you play the game, there's differential outcome in terms of boss encounters and what items you can get. So, and I didn't even know this until my fourth run in X3 is that you can get 0 sabers. So, funny thing about this is that I think with this, if I recall correctly, Bit and Bite, I I think you don't need to I don't think it's not necessary for them to be defeated with their weaknesses or not. I don't think that matters, but Vile
Yeah.
does. If Vile is defeated, then you can get 0 sabers. So the trick is you got to get 100% everything. Uh, you either have to kill God Car Machine in the first one or uh, the trash disposal in the first one. And in the second level, you call for 0 before the mid boss room, and then there's this mosquito or lookalike Reploid that drains coloring, and then have 0 defeat it, and then the boss kamikazes right into 0. And there's this little bit of dialogue going on between X and 0, and X gives you his Z Saber, which gives you charge level up stage 4, which is green.
That's cool.
Yeah. And the Z Saber, well, you also have to have the gold armor as well
Yeah.
to use it. So yeah, if I recall correctly. So getting that, yeah, with the Z Saber, it makes boss fights easy. So one slash connect, 50% gone. Like the
Nice.
bot, yeah. But if the beam saber beam hits the enemy, it consecutively hits them for a few times. Not utterly defeating them, but leaving them at 25% health. It's that overpoweringly broken. I mean, you can use this on Doppler, but remember, Dr. Doppler does regenerate health when when something comes into contact. So you kind of have to wait until he's off his guard.
Let's see here.
But
So, Mega Man X,
but yeah.
iconic, great music. You know, and
Oh,
yeah,
the
beautiful
music.
design, beautiful gameplay. The bosses were great.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, ushered a new era. Like the armor upgrades were so neat.
Oh, exactly.
Um, and then X2, it was okay. X3, X3, it's like that. The story was a big nothing burger. Like it was filler. Yeah.
Oh.
And
Oh, okay.
I know they tried to include Zero. Like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. Like, I'll pop in for half a level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a Punky the alien?
Yeah, that would be Punky the Alien.
Hey, darling.
Hi. My social game got finished little nicely.
Hmm.
And I saw you were doing the SNES thing. I wanted to slide in for just a hot minute.
Oh, sweet. We're currently talking about the Mega Man X games. Any thoughts?
Which games again?
Mega Man X?
Oh, Mega Man X, one of my favorite of the SNES of the Mega Man series. Don't get me wrong, the origin of Mega Man from the NES days, the SNES days, when he got a little chubbier and a lot less mobile, in my opinion. When he went to X, it was glorious. I absolutely greatly enjoyed it. I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's a shame that he didn't get a lot. He got his first 3 games, which definitely cemented his legacy very, very well. Being able to play Zero, even for a short period of time, in the later half of the series, was really fun. And then as the series left the SNES, we're on SNES territory right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we would eventually get those ads forwards there because it's freaking awesome. Arguably, the series becomes more about Zero.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Shinji said that he actually wanted to make the series about Zero, like him the main character. I'm not sure if he wanted to start from the first game or he just wanted to kill off Eds in the first game originally, but he played it safe. And then, oh, you're saying?
He did it amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, he really wanted to launch. That was definitely his heart intent, and he did a pretty decent job with the Zero series. But again, that's a discussion for down the road.
Yeah.
But I love the character development that Zero does get when he's in the games with alongside his counterpart X. The amazing features, the pseudo 3-dimensional graphics that get put in some of the later half with the 3-dimensional Sigma head going on.
Yeah. In Mode 7 graphics chip.
I love the fact that they decided to do pseudo cinematic openings. It was a great choice when it came to getting you wrapped into it. The intro stage showed you what Zero X can do, and then they built upon that. They were like, well, you know what? Dash is so good, let's run it again. And Dash just became a staple of all the characters, and it was such a good idea. It gave him a huge distinction from his just regular Mega Man counterpart.
Yeah, because Mega Man you could do the slide for some speed, but Dash felt like just a totally different ballgame.
Dash is so good. Other games that try to emulate the Mega Man X series keep it as part of the core. Shout outs to like 20XX and 30XX are spirited success, not spirited successors, but spirited parodies of it that try to shove that to heart.
Let's see here. I will say though, I think once you get past the 8 Maverick bosses, then like go to like, the castle, that fucking difficulty spike, in my opinion.
It did.
Yes, absolutely. It reminisced the first Mega Man. Instead of doing the gauntlet where you just face all of the robot masters in these little tubes, you refaced them in pieces and chunks. They then later went the Mega Man normal route where you could just teleport. You chose the enemy master order, if I remember correctly. I think the first one was you got your gauntlet that you had to go through, and then they went to the capsule style. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
I think you're right.
I think you're right. In the first one, they didn't do tubes. It's just throughout the Sigma levels, you only get to fight one on the other. In the first one, it was just one. The second Sigma level's 2, and then the rest were the remaining. They kind of did the same, almost the same thing like they did in the original Mega Man. In that instance.
Oh man.
Yeah. I had to go triple check myself on that one. It's better to be accurate, even if you have to be humble yourself if you're wrong.
Of course.
Yeah,
And then-
you fought Boomer Crow. I love the name schemes. I love the change in the name. Instead of just blank man, they decided to give it take this is a penguin. Ice, yeah, let's give him my ice abilities. Chill penguin. But you got some weird ones every now and again. Don't get me wrong, like Spark Mandrill.
Yep. It's
Yeah, it's like we've gone from being sexist to now we're just the furries.
Mandrill's a type of monkey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because every thing's now an animal.
Yep.
Uh,
Or some sort of animal, yeah.
Oh, since we're in this vein, does anyone here have a particular favorite Maverick? In the
Magma
first
Dragoon.
Sorry, repeat that.
Magma Dragoon.
Tilly?
let's see here. I really need to kind of remember the lore, but you know what? I really remember that fucking spider guy from S4. Yeah,
Web Spider.
yeah. Cause that one was a struggle. It was it was so satisfying to get good at that fight.
I think Magma Dragoon is the fourth game. I don't think he's part of the first three.
Part of the first three.
The first three, then kind of same purpose of Launch Octopus. He's a pain. So satisfying to get good against him.
I hear more people complain about Boomer Kawanger. My favorite is Storm Eagle. He's one of the first bosses that I knock out, aside from Chill Penguin. But he's also one of the bosses you notice that defeating him affects another stage.
Yes, that is true. When you defeat certain Mavericks, the different effects of them affects other stages. Chill Penguin's defeat affects Flame Mammoth's factory. The crash of the ship in Storm Eagle's crash lands on the power plant.
You don't have to remember all of them.
And the fact that Launch Octopus's defeat floods Sting Chameleon's underground grotto.
Huh.
Yeah, that's how you get the heart piece.
So, can't wait to do a Mega Man marathon sometime.
Absolutely.
I'm planning on that.
Yeah.
My favorite from the first three? Okay. Well, I actually had a fascination for defeating Spark Mandrill. Yeah. I think Spark Mandrill would be my favorite from the first. The second one would be Flame Stag, and the third one would be Toxic Seahorse. No, I'm sorry. Volt Cat, not Volt Catfish. Crush Crawfish.
Oh,
yeah.
if we're gonna pick a few more,
See, I don't know if he counts, but Vile.
I would have. No, I would have. I was waiting for Vile to be talked about. I will count him, and I love the fact that he gets he comes back. He's a memorable. He makes you go, oh, I'm not the most powerful guy. I thought it was Mega Man, but this guy here just kicked my cans in. Who is this guy? He makes himself a villain, and I love it. Like I said, the biggest thing they did was they did cutscenes, and they weren't slouches about it. It was great.
Oh yeah, and that intro he's for Vile is so foreboding and iconic. Oh, and like even the sound of like this, like the boss door is shutting, like yeah, like you're locked in here with me now. Yeah.
You
Sound design.
you can hear the fight with Zero.
Yeah.
It's great. They did an amazing job. I like the secret bosses. Those were I can't remember them very well because they had some really out there names for 2 and 3.
Oh,
Um,
so for X2, the secret bosses are Surges, Violin, and Surges, Violin, and Agile. And
Huh.
for X3 is Bit, Bite, and Vile Mark II.
Got a good memory.
I try. But as I mentioned earlier, their defeat affects the outcome of the entire game. If you didn't defeat them, then well, the outcome will change at the end. And if you didn't defeat Bit and Bytes, then you'll have to encounter them again later as a much more powerful form.
If I remember the first trio correctly, that was you collecting. Since Zero got messed up, it was a way of getting Zero back, and if you got him back, he grants you a shortcut, and he helps you skip a fight.
Yes, that is true. Get all the Zero parts, and you'll skip a unforgivingly but also challenging encounter later. But yes. If both Bit and Bite are destroyed with their weaknesses, then you go against the garbage disposal at the end of Doppler 1. If either one survive or both survive, you get to go against Khadgar Machine, which is relatively easier than the trash disposal fight in Doppler 1. If Vile is defeated, then you go against the Volt boss in Doppler 2. If he's still alive, then you go against him and Goliath in the end of Doppler 2, instead of the Volt boss at the end.
For those listening in, if you do want to play these first 3 gems, the Mega Man X Legacy Collection is available on like several digital stores like Steam and I think G2 Games and Humble Store.
And it's also on other consoles too.
And if Tilly has a link they want to plug for their Humble store, they could do that.
Oh, I don't have one of those Humble links that I get rid of.
Oh, you don't have one yet? You should get that. You should definitely get that.
Not sure how it even works.
I'll tell you about it later then.
Okay.
How about the soundtrack? What do you if you had to pick one of the 3, which one hits it just right?
Number 3.
Number 3. Any go
I
ahead.
heard you had a lot of that, like that electric guitar twang to it. You know, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I have a feeling that's probably Spark Mandrels. He is a very memorable soundtrack.
It's like it sounds like the guitar's like drunk. But
Mine, God, I kind of ratted myself out. It is for me. It's one because of Spark Mandrel, but the close second is Zero's themes. From then on out, like Zero's theme is so iconic and it's so nice.
Yep.
Okay. I guess move on to another SNES game. I've yet to play these, but I hear Bear talk about them. And because he loves them to death. Breath of Fire. Have you ever played Breath of Fire games?
Absolutely. I replayed a fan translation of the game and fan balance of the second game, and I absolutely unadulteratedly enjoyed the changes. But I had played the core back in the old day when I was young. I played both games. The first game is rough because it definitely shows Capcom's age of kind of step it into the fold of trying to do some RPGs, and they don't falter. Storytelling's decent. The big fault comes when it got translated and a lot of things got muddied. The effects of things kind of got lost. Like you didn't know you could use certain things in combat, which would have made a lot of fights a lot easier. Trust me. But when it nails, the thing it nails is music, storytelling, I could tell people right now, skip 1. You won't lose anything. You won't lose anything at all. Jump straight to 2.
Even with the translation.
Even with the translation on 2, jump straight to 2. 2 is fun. It's mechanically great. If you can somehow grab the translation and either put it into your actual cartridge ROM, which is a doable thing, or do safe emulation. Again, as long as you back up from your actual ROM card, I heavily recommend it, especially the balance change one, because it also gives you the characters' fusions don't fall off so quickly. One of the big key features in the second game was fusions, and when you got low health, the fusions would fail, and you would lose the nice functionality of the fusions. So one of the changes that one of the fans did was, if you got low health, it doesn't go out, but only if you're KO'd do you lose the functionality of the fusion. Because fusions did amazing things. It turned characters that had so magic power into actual, I can use this magic. Because certain enemies were weak to certain magic element, and it sucked because their magic wasn't but when they got fused, they kind of lost a little bit of defense, and they got a little more fragile. So they sometimes could get hit to low health but not killed outright. But if they get hit low health in the base game, there went all your magic oomph. But in the patch, it was a really great change, and it doesn't really disbalance the game, honestly.
Oh, that's fine.
Hmm.
So now, have you played Breaths?
Never have, and it's not because I didn't like it. It's because where I grew up at, we didn't have access to many games that I didn't know very well about. So I've kept hearing great things about the Breath of Fire games, and I really want to play them.
Oh yeah, they're on the Switch Online, I believe.
That's an excuse then. Nice. I did not know about this until now.
You are welcome.
3 and 4 is a good follow-up. I know we're still talking about this, but I do want to give Legacy to where Legacy is. 3 and 4 are beautiful continuations of a not story, but kind of a genre. Be part dragon genre, which is a very rare genre of RPG games. They do an amazing job, and I have no qualms with them at all.
Okay. But there's Yakuza Like a Dragon, so let's see here. How y'all feel about those SNES Castlevania games?
Oh wow.
Okay.
Surprisingly, I have played none of them.
Oh wow. Knocked this on you.
Yes. They were hard. Comparing to the original Castlevania, still about as hard as the NES Castlevanias for sure. They are hard, but it's not something to swing at either.
Yeah, like Vampire Kiss, like that one, like our Dracula Ed to the States. It's very hard. Especially the last boss, like, is practically impossible.
Yeah.
Because one, it's Dracula. Two, you got knockback in a place with pits. Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
How about yourself, Tilly? Like,
I like Super Castlevania 4 because that's really good music.
Ooh.
It was a good recreation of the first game. A little easier with some new level concepts.
okay.
Let's see. But here's the RPG I think most of us have played. Chrono Trigger.
That's so easy. Okay.
So
I actually did play it till last year. Yeah, because the game was just, I guess, so well hyped that I kind of put it off, and so I finally got myself around to playing it. And then at the time I wasn't sure which version to play because all 4 versions are kind of different. So I started the first one, which had been Super Nintendo, and I was amazed. I'm like, wow, I finally got around to it. I see what y'all are talking about. Yeah.
Chrono Trigger, I can recommend both the there's 4 versions out there. There's the PC version, the SNES version, the DS version, and PlayStation version.
Yeah.
And then the fans out there not missing a beat back in the days. I think it's still probably still floating out there. Is a way to hybridize between the SNES sound font, just beautiful sound font, and the cinematic events from the PlayStation. There's a really nice mod that fuses the two, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I do recommend it. But if you had to play it, I would recommend the SNES version for its purity, the PlayStation version for the nice little cinematics. The DS version, the only reason why I recommend it is I know I'm not a Chrono Cross person. I won't lie. Chrono Cross is what broke me when it came to wanting to continue the Chrono Trigger series. However, the DS version does kind of connect the two, and I've heard good things of it. The only drawback is its sound font gets crunchy, so I can't recommend it other than just continuing the story, trying to link the two storylines. I don't know if the Steam version got any more polish from Square Enix, but from what I know last, they probably filled it and finished that polish that they needed to do. But I don't know entirely.
But yeah, it's a really good RPG. I like how you can like mix and match the teammates with special moves and stuff. And the Lavos mechanic was very interesting. The fact that you could technically try to beat the game at so many different points in the story, and at different outcomes and stuff. Yeah, that's insane. Let's see. But Knock, how do you feel about Chrono?
Now, granted, I haven't played Chrono Cross, and I'm glad that I saved myself the headache and the trouble. Chrono Trigger will always and forever be a classic to me. Whether version I play, albeit if it's the SNES version for its originality and its purity, or the fact that you get some very nice cinematics on the PS version, or the fact that we can get some interesting stuff on the DS version and PC version. And quite frankly, I love all versions equally. It's not one version wins all, by the way. It's you can enjoy one version by just saying, I can enjoy the SNES for what it's worth. I can enjoy the DS version for what it is. I can enjoy the PS version for what I can even enjoy the PC version because it is what it is, and I love it. I've been loving Chrono Trigger since its release, and when it came out for the DS, I had to have it, and I got it. And when it came out for the PC on sale, well, one of the Steam sales, I had to have it, and I got it. And it never disappointed. The soundtrack of it all, when you go against bosses or when you go into places, the characters, the amount of combinations of tomfoolery techniques that you can do is amazing, and the amount of side quests you do just to get the most interestingly powerful equipment ever to make the game go through quicker or just painfully stickingly harder. Son of the Sun God, by the way. That's just make things easier. Oh, by the way, you can actually make Son of the Sun God fight easier. Just have Magus on your team do Black Hole, and that will either wipe away the false ones or it'll reveal the true one. You'll thank me later. You're welcome. That's the only hint. That's the only hints I'm giving. You're on your own from there. But anyway, yeah, I love Chrono Trigger. Would I play it again at SNES? Absolutely. It has its own charm to it, and just the fact that it's just a boy, and this is a boy and a girl just want to go to a festival, just have some fun, then something goes wrong, and another thing goes wrong, and another thing goes wrong, and another thing goes wrong, and then everything settles and makes sense. Or does it? No, it does make sense later. It just revealed itself. Oh, you reached the end of time. Wait, this is the end of time. Looks like. Gee. Wonder where we can get the nearby donut shop.
Oh man, yeah, I always thought the design was corny at first, but like fucking Frog, he's like the best character.
Oh yes.
You could definitely see that when they decided to get Akira Toriyama to do the character illustrations, you could probably he in his youth he had the gumption to talk about his characters to the people he was working with, and you can definitely feel that his input was taken in consideration, and the characters reflect that.
Indeed.
I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball. How about the weird game that is Super Punch Out?
Okay.
I'd like to know your opinions.
Well, mine's one's quick. I didn't get to play this one. I played the NES one a bit, but I never got to get around to this the Super Punch Out. Do I hear Mike Tyson is a beast?
Yes.
But that is he's only present in the first game. He does not make a return.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, but Nog, what's your opinion?
A little easier than regular Punch Out, but it's still hard. It's still fun from the original Punch Out. But original Punch Out will always give me some nostalgia because Mike Tyson's in it. But yes, I've had some run-ins with Super Punch Out many times, and I had to replay it several times till I actually finally beat it. And it has this sense of joy that when you knock an opponent out, it just gives you that much energy and hype. Let's go. Let's do this. We got this. And then when you defeat, it's like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We were bound to run into a roadblock anyway, as with some Punch Out games that has roadblocks. So if you've managed to go overcome those, then yeah, you would definitely seek the title of champion easier. So to me, Super Punch Out, magnificent.
From my end, the reason why I threw you guys this curveball is Super Punch Out was my first introduction to the Punch Out series. A lot of my first was in the because I was not a toddler anymore, and I actually could think and learn about the game itself. The SNES was when I started actually getting the grasp of games, and Super Punch Out was one of the first few. The characters in Super Punch Out leagues better than their counterparts, and it helps you like grasp what you're fighting. They break rules left, right, and center. Don't get me wrong. You expect those fighters who'd been kicked out of the league ages ago, but they are also that's what characterizes them so well and gives a little flair to all that. And if you haven't played it, I do recommend it. Just get your hand around it. Try it at least once. It's a fun game, and it's a fun old school game.
Indeed.
Okay, Knock, your turn. What kind of game is on your mind?
All right, I'm gonna throw another curveball. Something from my personal list that I used to own. Something I never expected would turn up until I actually was thinking about it. Rocky Rodent.
I never heard of it.
The only thing worth remembering of that is the soundtrack. Anything else is just janky controls, subpar storyline, but it kind of reminds me in some ways of Sonic the Hedgehog, where it actually meets Sonic the Hedgehog with certain power-ups. We'll leave it at that. It's like Super Nintendo's answer to Sonic the Hedgehog, but Rocky Rodent doesn't act like a hedgehog. He more like a very gluttonous, hungry rodent.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, very accurate. So it's very challenging. It's challenging to a point where you have to. Yes, it relies on different hairsprays and hairstyles. So your power ups are your hair. So you get your hairspray to do a sword. You get your buzzers to get a mohawk axe. You get a plant growing on your head to grow a ponytail that can climb up tree vines in a single bound. And may I go on?
Yeah, this game sounds neat.
Yeah.
Go
yeah,
ahead,
and
sorry.
that's fine. And then there's this little baby chick that Rocky Road wants to eat, and the chick's not having it. No, I don't want to be eaten. Don't look at me as food. You're so mean. You're so cruel. Why'd you do this to me, Daddy? So cruel. But spoiler alert: Rocky Road does not end up eating the baby chick.
Oh,
The baby chick ends up being more helpful than most would know. But yeah, it is challenging. The boss fights themselves are it's easier at first, but later on it gets really really hectic. But I think the real challenge is getting through the levels without going through some silly death BS. Yes.
Hmm.
Uh,
I,
but yeah, the only thing I give props for is the soundtrack. That's all. Other than that, it's kind of a silly Sonic the Hedgehog with pair power ups. I cannot say rip off too easily, but that would just be too lightly. I would say it's a platformer with style, hairstyle.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
sounds like a plug straight from the the ads. I
Nice, L'Oreal, because I'm worth it.
I did not play this wonderful game. I've seen gameplay of it. Don't get me wrong, and there's always some fun games that we've watched other people play, and that is definitely one of those more silly games. It did remind me a little bit of Bubsby, but once I learned more about the his hairsprays being his power ups, I thought it was like, oh, that's actually a pretty cool gimmick, all things considered. He's definitely probably one of the game characters that could probably get a modernization, and people would be people would probably give it a try. I don't know if Ireme Games is still kicking around, but it couldn't be a bad idea, all things considered.
Uh,
Hmm.
Now, as for a mascot game that like everyone played, Donkey Kong Country.
Oh my god, I love Donkey
Yes.
Kong.
Probably one of the first times that Donkey Kong was the good guy. And also, actually, that's actually like one of the first streams I ever caught of Nox and playing DKC.
Wait, what?
Yeah, yeah, like the first stream I ever saw you in.
Was it the first or the second one?
First.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was doing I was going back to the original Donkey Kong because I didn't beat the original Donkey Kong for a long time. I was struggling with it. I was always doing so well in 2 and 3 and I managed to do 100%. Oh, 102, 108, whatever that was. But
That's pretty
yes.
challenging.
Yeah, that's the challenge in itself is getting the high percentage in the original Donkey Kong. But 2 and 3, if you know where you're going, it's a little challenging in itself, but also very rewarding in itself. But
Yeah, in a way, it's like there's two ways to play a Donkey Kong Country game. You just play through it normally, or go for everything. That's a totally different experience after that.
yeah, and I like the fact that they gave you that option to whether just to play through the game as is or just go find everything. And I like about that. And also the soundtracks for all the DKC games are just they're just full of
Oh, beautiful! That water theme. Oh my goodness, it used to be one of my intro themes.
yeah,
I can see
same.
that. I can see that. It's a very chill song. You could listen to it.
Yeah.
Same. It's amazing. I love the soundtracks of the water themes. I think the first one. Yeah, I think the first one just tops it. The other two were fine. It's just I think that the first one is the most memorable one.
Yeah, like Donkey Kong was like my favorite of all the apes too. So tend to stick with the first one.
Well, of course. Well, of course. When Donkey Kong Country came out, I was totally blown away by what the game showcased. And it was on a SNES system. Shit.
And it didn't have to use the FX chip that was later introduced for a couple of the games that were added to the SNES collection.
I wasn't aware of that until much later when someone told me about about the FX chip, and I said, "Oh wow!" And then now you mentioned it again. I said, "Wow, another one that knows about the FX chip." Aside from that one person, I'm amazed.
Um, this may surprise you because I didn't know this until I had to look up what other games had the FX chip because I did remember the FX chip because it was Stunt Race FX, which is the big thing that showcased the FX chip, was the game I greatly enjoyed, but I did not know Yoshi's Island used the FX chip.
Ah,
Yeah.
That was one of the first games they ever used it. Like, it bragged about it.
big time.
I did not. Well, I did not get a chance to jump in on Yoshi's Island until the emulation days. Surprisingly.
Surprising, yeah.
Fair. Oh my goodness. Then that cause I remember that commercial is gross as fuck for Yoshi's Island.
But back to Donkey Kong Country. Sorry, because
Right.
we do have bad tangents are really easy to happen when you love games.
Yeah.
I greatly enjoyed the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. It was a blast. Me and my brother thoroughly enjoyed it. Straight up, we were co-op back when we were young. We co-oped as many games as we could. You want to talk about 2-player games? That was our lineage. We played as many 2-player games as we could, as often as we could.
I kind of want to do the Nintendo Switch Online. But one word about tangents real quick. I kind of wanted to name the podcast Off Topic Podcast, but
we'll something. Sorry, go ahead.
however, I noticed that the Off Topic Podcast is now retired. It went a long time though, but it's like, what's the legality of taking a name that's for a show that ended? You know,
I'd look it up.
it's like
Yeah.
a TV show, but podcast. Like, you're not using it anymore. Yes. But Gaybit podcast, surprisingly not taken. So we're gonna roll this.
I like it.
Sounds like a plan. Let's see.
Let's see. But I'd say Punky, that was a good game. That comes to mind with Super Nintendo.
Since I just talked about co-oping, Kirby Superstar.
Ooh.
You just
Hello,
said bad
pink,
word.
creature.
Okay. HAL Laboratories never disappoints in their Kirby games. Never really did. In any experience I had with any Kirby game I played, nothing but positive. And Kirby Superstar, boom. I usually play either with my brother or my sister, and we would just play Superstar for hours. It's just so much fun. Either solo, but much more fun if you're playing with someone. Oh no, I lost it. Eric, here's your power back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like 9 games in one or something like that. It was such crazy, and even more if you played the remake, remaster, which is on the DS, and it's like Kirby's like the most adorable cannibal ever. Yeah,
So adorable.
It's like, hey, you.
Oh,
Yeah. Also, dude, the variety in the powers is cool too. It's like, oh man, there's a sword, but I could go for that yo-yo. But that one over there looks cool too. The fire was good, yeah. It's like, but the speed around a little motor wheel, yeah. The arcade, the sleep one, just because it's funny, yeah. Oh man,
that was funny. Yeah.
yeah. Artifact, you kind of like heal your partner by kissing.
Or just sharing food. I don't know if it's kissing. We don't know that.
It's clearly brand safe hugs.
Fair. It could be that we just don't know.
Let's see. Anyone play any of the Dragon Quest games on the old console there?
Yes.
Any good?
Any good? Is it any bad? No. No, none bad.
Okay.
None bad. I only played one Dragon Quest from there. I forgot what it was, but I really want to do a huge marathon of Dragon Quest games. But yeah, one of the ones I played I don't know what it was. Was it 3 or I don't freaking remember. But yeah, there was one I played on the SNES. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, although I kept killing slimes for some odd reason because I think slimes are just slimy.
Oh, Slime Boy, don't listen to this podcast.
Oh,
Uh,
no, I mean, anyway, but yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's a, but anyway, yeah, the original, the original Dragon Quest. If most of you played them, they're mostly just turn-based, and some of the recent ones, they're still sticking with the turn-based or originality, and they're actually adding some things up with it, which is fine. But still the same old concept art from Akira Toriyama. Did a really good job with the artwork.
oh yeah. But yeah, Frozen. No, there's a streamer at a Midway community named Gaming Slime Boy, and if he ever walks into the stream when I'm fighting a slime creature like an RPG, he gets mortified. Like, what are you doing?
Oh goodness.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. That's horrifying.
yeah.
Jesus Christ, how horrifying.
Oh man, let's see. And let's see here. Nah, your turn.
I'm gonna bring another one up from my list that I owned. I'm gonna say and okay, just another curveball, another one of those low price games that not many people heard of. Pit Fighter. It's a oh, I heard by the sounds of your face. By the sound of that is kind of familiar.
I'm absolutely positively double checking right now. Make sure it's the game I think it. Yes, it is.
Isn't that
Yes.
a bootleg fighting game?
Yes, it's the very same bootleg fighting game.
Yeah.
It's mocap deliciousness that it's kind of in the same vein that Mortal Kombat did, but it's more cheese. It's funny. It's hard. I'll tell you that. That game is rough to clear. Very rough.
It is. And as a person who beat it twice, I'm happy to say that I'm finally done with that atrociousness. But it is without its own, I don't know, glory and merit behind it. It's, you're risking yourself because you don't have much healing until later on, and then after that, it's, well, the game's all yours if you know what you're doing. If not, then, well, don't make too many mistakes. But yes, this was a game that
Was a game.
it was a game that existed. Was it fun at its time? At first, no, but after some trial and error, I guess it can be fun.
And hey, this many years we're still talking about it.
Very true. Very true.
I guess in the vein of fighting games, Fatal Fury.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
Had a very neat art style. Kind of reminded me of Street Fighter 2, as far as art style goes. And the combat had that weird mechanic where you can jump into the background and stuff in the foreground. It's a little weird, but it was unique. Then we had freaking Mai and her boobies and her thong. Good times. Yeah.
Was the foreground background mechanic introduced in the SNES version?
Oh,
or was it in the sequel?
I know it's in that generation, yeah, but it's pretty early on.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it was like 5, was it special or 1, 2, but I'm gonna see what's in special, Fatal Fury special.
I mean, it was a series so beloved that Smash decided to bring Terry in, so there's no fault to that. I'll tell you this though, Geese is still haunting players today.
Very true. So very true.
Oh man, it's kind of crazy that basically the fan service is the character.
Yes.
But I do love me some Terry Bogard. Like Like nowadays, like my team is always Mai, Terry, and King.
I would say a good team.
Yeah. Okay, and let's see here. Next up, how about them SNES Final Fantasy games?
Hmm.
If to fill, yeah, if I had to pick, which is
Mystic Quest, right?
Mystic Quest. No, I did no, but I do recommend.
Wow.
No. I played six straight up. I played 6/3, American 3, Japanese 6. I played that one straight up. Greatly enjoyed it. The cast of characters, huge, fun. But players' first RPG for Mystic Quest, it is not. Yeah, you'll slam through the first portion of the game because the game is designed for easy mode. Then you'll reach the late half of the game and wonder why you're not strong enough, and it will just hammer you in. And it's so funny how it just escalates in difficulty out of nowhere. But no, when it comes to, I think it's like only two that made stateside was those two, if I remember correctly.
One thing I noticed too is like all the characters who joined you had like better stats than you. I forget the first girl's name, but I'm like, she comes back from her coma later in the game. I'm like, what the fuck? You were in a coma. How are you stronger than me? Who's been adventuring?
Right. All this time, who's been adventuring?
But now say Final Fantasy 4/2.
Mhm.
Depending on where you live, I guess. Like I originally played that on the PSP, because I played I beat Final Fantasy 1 on the PSP, and I was so impressed with that version, because it had all the quality of life updates and had the nicest like magic animations.
Mhm.
So I went to that version with 4, and I kind of dropped it like I was like bored and stuff. But then I decided to give it a go, but this time on the original Super Nintendo version, and I was loving it. I was like, I don't
Oh.
know what it was, like SNES charm. Was I just ready this time? But yeah, like on the inferior hardware, I was enjoying some Final Fantasy 2 for.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let me see. 2 was the gem system, correct? Where you could choose jobs and all that, right?
Uh,
Was it? I thought that was 5, wasn't it?
yeah, that was 5.
Okay.
Let's see.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah, 5 was the one. Yeah, 5 was the one I played, and I actually like the ability you can switch jobs. Which, for those of who may or may not play Bravely Default, is attest to that.
Oh, they felt so good. I've played it before stream. I played it. Oh my god, it was so good. Go get it on Steam. It's so good.
The original 2 definitely had some for the NES. I think they had some customization, but you had to swing a weapon a certain amount of times, and they get hit a certain amount of times. 2 is that Final Fantasy, but we're on the SNES, so better times.
Right.
Let's see here. Okay, I think it's Punky's turn.
Let's see. Let me.
Actually,
Uh,
yeah, okay. So we
how do I wanna
got enough time for a couple more.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Do I want to go wide or do I? You know what? Let's go in with real life tie-ins. How about? Do I want to do a movie or do I want to do a show? You know what? WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, aka
Oh,
the
wow.
yeah.
I was waiting until someone was about to say something like that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, this one I played the Sega Genesis and the PS1 versions.
Mm.
But both are just crazy. Um, so yeah, you got fucking like Undertaker shooting ghosts and bashing people over the head of a tombstone. You beat the Karaoke Yokozuna and freaking ham hocks and chicken legs fly out of them. Yeah, like fatalities. Oh man, I always played Shawn Michaels. He's my favorite at the batch at that day, at that time.
Let's not forget Doink the Clown.
Oh no, you had to bring in the no, get that clown out of here. Get out.
Hey, you're gonna hear a lot of games that at least more than one player could play half the time. So I
That's
had to
true.
bring it. I had to bring it up. What about yourself?
is-
What about you, Knock? What's your experience on it?
Um, never much experience. Never played much of it. Oh, I only played it for one day. Uh, that's the wrestling game I devoted most of my time to is, well, it's on another system, but we'll get to that when we get there. But my limited time playing it was, I'm not good at wrestling games. Let's say that, but it was an experience that happened.
Yeah, like I said, I played it on Sega Genesis. Like most of my time I spent on a wrestling game was the WWF Royal Rumble. Um, Also, fun fact: Bret Hart actually worked on the game, the arcade one.
Are you serious? How come
He
that
did a little
doesn't?
consulting work, but
How come that doesn't surprise me?
let's see. So I guess the Canadians have like a cheat code for it or something. Okay. Spin-off of a fighting game, now mostly a beat 'em up series. The Final Fight. Ah,
Final fight. Oh man,
yeah.
that brought so many memories of trying to beat that last area. Ah.
Oh man, like start off like in the arcade, like at Mike Haggard, the most buffest, butchest, violent mayor ever. Um, and hit. I always like Cody. I guess it was the white and the blue or something. I think you had Guy. Um, and depending on the game, like like so and so got more attention. Uh, but yeah, good character designs, good addicting fighting stuff. It's classics. Um, there was actually a typo, and you get different side playable characters. Like you had some random judo girl in one, or some guy named Andy and another one. And there was one where you played as Lucia, yeah, short hair blonde chick, like a little showing a little leg, um, and I forget what the proper what phrasing was, but and there's a typo in like the instruction manual that said she was a super virgin.
Are you serious? That's a
Yeah,
thing? Oh
yeah,
no.
uh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah, so that was like the run of the joke for the play for yeah, like that's a super virgin. Oh,
Jeez. That's gonna be the highlight of the podcast, I'm believing. Christ. Super virgin. What the fuck?
yeah.
God damn. Oh man.
But I don't know, I think maybe try to go for virtuous or something. But yeah. And oh yeah, and that's also where we got Poison, one of the very first trans characters.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did have that. Holy shit. Good recall on that one.
Oh man,
All right, Knock.
I need to get a Poison
Nope.
cosplay outfit.
You
See,
Oh,
I look good in that.
oh,
sounds good.
that would be amazing.
Huh, maybe. Okay, and let's see. Okay, I'd say yeah, it's all go for like one more.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't know how long we want these episodes to be, like hour and a half or 2 hours or something.
Hey, I'm not editing it, so it's up to you.
Yeah. I don't know. First one, yeah, like you kind of keep it simple. Um, for at least here at the beginning. But yeah, like luckily for this one, we also had like no there's really no part I need to edit this time around. Like we had no like outtakes, no like AFKs, no technical difficulties so far. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop. Oh man, but yeah, so far so smooth sailing. Let's see. But I know it's late and stuff like that, so I guess we can Yeah, I'll go for like one mo. And there will be more Super Nintendo episodes as well because there's a lot of games. You
There
know,
is, yeah.
like we could probably if we were to do it all, then we'd probably be here for like 6 hours.
We should probably
Should I,
let's try like how about next time we pick a series and we take it apart, have fun with it, talk about each
oh
piece
yeah.
of it. Let's try see if we can find some good series that have multiple games in their SNES
Oh, this is
bracket.
gonna be a video game, yeah, variety podcast for sure. I remember one day, we just doing every Resident Evil. It took like 8 hours or something, give or take.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, that's just Resident Evil games. Oh man. Oh, now I know what my last one's gonna be. But okay. All right. Let's see here. Naka, take us away.
Hmm. Okay. My final curveball, Claymates.
Oh man. I mean,
It
Claymate's a
was
Clay Fighter.
Claymates.
Okay.
It's the platformer.
Gotcha.
This game tormented me for 20 years because I didn't beat it. And just in stream 2-3 years ago, the nightmare was finally over. I finally beat
GG.
Claymates of how the platforming was so jank and difficult later on, but the only thing I can take from that is the fact that you can morph into different animals based on the clay ball. And the soundtrack is good too. I mean, there's some good bangers in there for sure. And the puzzles though, yeah, you'll probably be at those for hours, and trust me, those puzzles are definitely puzzles post after you beat the stage, you have to solve a puzzle to advance to the next area, which most can be nerve-wracking for your brain. So when I say Claymates, it's, I know a lot of people haven't heard of it, and I know some people who have heard of it and probably have not beaten it or probably have beat it. If for those who have beat it, give yourself a pat on the back, because this game is really difficult, and the difficulty curve spikes up after World 2, because there's only about 5 worlds in this game.
Ah.
So yeah, so you get your what was the first area? North America or Suburbia. Then you got the Pacific Ocean. I think Pacific Ocean was the most fun out of the 5 worlds. Well, 5th world was fun, but also a little. You have to go backtrack this and the backtrack that, backtrack this, backtrack that sort of thing. And World 3 is in Japan, and Japan is as you expected. It's hard. 4th one is Africa. If you bless down the rains in Africa, then yeah, it's kind of hard.
As historic accurate Africa.
Exactly that. And World 5 is the outer space. Yes, outer freaking space.
Huh.
But again, it's challenging to a point. But this game is without its secrets. If you discover the secrets, it can get the game a little bit easier. I mean, like I said, if you after each and every level you beat, there's a brain knacking puzzle that you have to figure out. Okay, where do these robots need to go get the power up to break down the obstacle to the next area, that sort of thing. So by doing that, you're owing yourself a favor by not doing those puzzles if you know what to do. And they actually tell you in the game of the secrets, should you ever come across the message board that says it. Not online. It's in the game. Trust me, it's in there. But but Claymates, it's with its different character abilities for the clay balls. It's fun. And it's fun in ways. It can be challenging, but its bonus rounds are fun, especially when you get all the letters. It'll get you to this huge bonus round, like this huge. I mean, you're a clay ball, obviously. You're just going to play pinball, and you're just going to get extra life or points or things that'll accumulate to, extra life. So stack up extra lives because you're gonna need it. And trust me when I say that you need all the extra lives you can get from every bonus round you can get. Trust me, they're worth it.
And I guess it's not like that. We're still kind of like in the era of like where they had to like inflate difficulty just to extend game length at the time. Which is one reason why I thought like, oh my god, Final Fantasy VI is huge. Because I played it on the PS1, and I was like, how did this fit on a Super Nintendo cartridge? Like, that game is so long. There's so much content in that game. I was really amazed. It's my last one, since we brought up Terrifying, is kind of obscure. It's called Clock Tower. And possibly one of the first, not the first, but one of the first, survival horror games. And it's kind of got like point click controls, and you gotta pretty much avoid the Scissor Man. And it had like 8 different endings, and there's so many different death animations that like you like enter a room and you fuck up or something, or you can only do like the same like tricks, like once or twice before the Scissor Man kind of wisens up. So yeah, and yeah, it's like it's crazy good. Like definitely look up Clock Tower for the Super Nintendo.
Absolutely.
And Punky, what's your last one?
Well, I was hoping to chase one hard game with another, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. Battletoads and Double Dragons: The Ultimate Team. A co-op adventure meshing 2 major franchises together was an absolute blast.
Oh yeah, we mentioned this one earlier. But yeah, this is the one I always go back to play too, because it was interesting playing like Jimmy fighting all these like mutants and stuff. Okay. And I need to try it. I need to play that when it came out a few years ago. But yeah, I'm sure you got more to say about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The soundtrack, I love what they did. They took a lot of the already pre-established soundtracks and kind of gave them their own little spin to it. I would love to see a modernized version of these franchises smashed together, like straight up. It was fun. You have the gritty, tough difficulty of a Battletoads game with once you got the mechanics, you had the fairness of Double Dragon, because Double Dragon was all about once you've mastered certain mechanics, nobody could touch you. You could just wreck bosses left, right, and center. Same with Battletoads. You go back to the older Battletoads, or heck, Battletoads and Battlemania, a sister game in the same system. Once you got better at it, once you understand the mechanics of the game, you were untouchable. Bosses could not even threaten you. Stage hazards were a joke. One of the fights that would get you dead real early is the fight with Willie, also known as Roper. He's the guy with a big old machine gun, and if you didn't duck down fast enough, that was your whole life bar. There was no mercy at that point. But the mix of genre of like being able to fight like Double Dragon. Yep. You had the hilarious over the top actions of the Toads. You had this space shooting mode where you went and fought and like they reached and touched everything what they used to do. There's so much polish. The speeder bikes, let's see, trying to think of what else was there. Oh my god. It was such a good fusion, amazing fusion of 2 fun franchises. I could embellish about Double Dragon by itself for ages. I could talk about Battletoads for ages. I was happy to beat Battletoads on stream, cheating, but I still cleared it. No, don't get me wrong. I could not go through that game without an infinite life system, but I sure as heck did not stop. No matter how tough the game got, I kept going. And I think Battletoads and Double Dragons is a great introduction to the difficulty of Battletoads and the fun of Double Dragon, and letting you branch into 2 different directions for both game series. It was
I know
fun.
One guy, he beat it like legit, the original Battletoads on NES, but took him 3 whole weeks.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, but me and I
know.
were saying earlier, like a freaking a Battletoads Double Dragon animated movie would have been perfect. Like, how does that not exist? That'd be perfect for an old '90s cartoon movie.
It would.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, as we wrap up here, I kind of want to throw my own little curveball. Since this is the Chris and the Gaybit podcast, I like to kind of give like a shout to like at least one LGBT style game as a recommendation. So I kind of want to throw out it's what's kind of like a cozy visual novel called Arcade Spirits. Um,
Mm.
you kind of customize your character a bit, and you go to work. I get a job at an arcade, and beautiful colors, and you meet these various people, and you kind of be with a straight couple, gay couple, and but you get some nice eccentric personalities. You meet at you meet at arcade. From like the quiet guy to like the cosplayer chick. But yeah, it's extremely cozy game. Um, and pretty sure it's not even that expensive. Like I got my copy on itch. But yeah, Arcade Spirits, which they do a sequel now.
Hmm.
Yeah, beautiful, diverse cast as well.
I did not know it had its own. Interesting.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. And okay, so yeah, that's up for episode 1 of the Gaybit podcast. And y'all want to plug anything or got any parting words?
Monkey.
Oh, well, I go first. Well, I'm just gonna tell everybody, like I tell everybody on my stream: be good, be safe, and above all, be yourselves.
Ye-
Um. Actually, I like that one, Punky. um. Always be authentic and true to yourself, because life's too short to be becoming someone you're not, and that's not the way to go. So always be kind to yourselves, but also to each other.
Yeah, like I've always said this since day one. Like the only thing I really ever ask for people from people doesn't have to be money or subscriptions or bits or whatever. All I ask you is to be the real you. Yeah, that's why reason I started the Waifu Tavern and this LGBT safe space. Yeah, just be the real you. Yeah, have fun. Yeah. Let's see. Be excellent to each other. Yeah.
Indeed.
And I'll catch you in the next really good gay time on the Gaybit podcast. Yeah. Love yous. Bye bye.
Sayonara.